Hi everyone, I'm so excited to take you along on a full day here on our sheep farm. Each day begins early, right before sunrise, with the sound of sheep bleating to say good morning. The first thing I do is head to the barn to check on all the sheep. I make sure they're awake and ready for the day. Feeding comes next. We give them a mix of fresh grass and grains to keep them healthy. I love seeing their little tails wag with excitement as they munch away. After feeding, I do a quick health check on each sheep. I look at their eyes, hooves, and wool to make sure they're all doing well. This helps us catch any issues early, like if a sheep is limping or showing signs of sickness. Once everyone is fed and checked, it's time to get them ready for their morning walk. The sheep love this time as they get to stretch their legs and enjoy the fresh air. With the sheep happily walking around, I head over to the fields to start the next big task of the day, harvesting grass. Grass is the main food for our sheep, so we need to make sure we always have enough. I hop into the tractor and off I go, driving up and down the fields to cut the grass. It's really fun watching the blades cut through the tall grass, creating neat long rows. This process can take a while, but I don't mind because it's always a beautiful view with the sun rising over the fields. After we finish cutting the grass, we load it onto a trailer and bring it back to the farm. We then spread it out in a big sunny area so it can start to dry. Drying is important because fresh grass has too much moisture, and if stored wet, it can get moldy. While the grass dries in the sun, I take a little time to check on the sheep again. It's so important to make sure they're safe and not wandering off. Sometimes a few adventurous ones will try to explore outside the field, and I have to bring them back gently. Then it's back to work with the grass. After it has dried for a while, we gather it up and bring it to a special machine. This machine chops the grass into smaller pieces and removes any stones or things that shouldn't be there. Sheep have sensitive tummies, so we have to be extra careful with their food. Once the grass is chopped and cleaned, we take it to the hanger where we keep the sheep. Inside the hanger, we have a special machine that distributes the grass evenly to all the sheep. It's pretty cool to watch. The sheep all gather around, eager for their food, and the machine makes sure each of them gets the right amount. I love seeing their happy faces as they eat. The leftover grass that doesn't get eaten right away is stored in sheds. We stack it neatly and cover it to keep it dry. Keeping it dry is really important so it doesn't get moldy or spoiled. We check the stored grass regularly to make sure it's staying fresh. The next big task is turning the leftover grass into hay. Hay is grass that has been dried out completely and stored for later use. To do this, we roll the dried grass into big bundles called bales. We store these bales in our sheds where they're safe from the rain. Every few days, I check the hay for moisture using a special tool. If the hay is too wet, it can spoil quickly, which would be bad for the sheep. By checking regularly, we make sure that the hay stays in perfect condition. This whole process takes a lot of effort, but it's really worth it because it helps keep our sheep healthy and happy all year round. When all the main chores are done, I take a short break. I usually sit down with a drink and watch the sheep grazing peacefully in the field. It's moments like these that make all the hard work worthwhile. But breaks don't last long on the farm. Soon, I'm back to checking on the fences, making sure there are no gaps or broken sections where the sheep might escape. I also clean out the barn, removing old bedding and replacing it with fresh straw to keep the sheep warm and comfortable. After that, it's time for some farm maintenance. This could mean fixing a broken gate, repairing equipment, or making sure the water supply is working properly. These jobs are important because if something breaks, it could cause big problems for the sheep. Once everything is in good shape, I check on the sheep again to see if any of them need extra care. Some sheep need special attention, like if they have a small injury or need a bit more food. I make sure they get the care they need so they stay healthy. As the afternoon turns into evening, it's time to gather the sheep back into the barn for the night. I gently guide them in, making sure not to rush them. Sheep are creatures of habit, and they feel safe when they know what to expect. Once they're all inside, I give them a final feeding of the day. This keeps them full and comfortable throughout the night. After they're settled, I clean up the barn area and refill their water troughs so they have plenty to drink. Before I head home, I do one last check of the entire farm. I make sure all the gates are closed, the hay is covered, and all the tools are put away. This is important because any little mistake could mean trouble the next day. Finally, after a long day, I head back to the house for dinner. I usually feel pretty tired by this point, but also really happy. There's something special about taking care of animals and knowing that they depend on you. It's a big responsibility, but also a great joy. Even though life on the farm is busy and sometimes tough, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Each day brings new challenges and rewards. I love learning more about the sheep and how to care for them better. Every day is different, and that's what makes it so exciting. The fresh air, the open fields, and the connection to nature make it all worth it. Plus, I get to spend my days with these cute, fluffy sheep who have become like family to me. I hope you enjoyed this peek into a day on our sheep farm. If you have any questions or want to know more about what we do, please leave a comment. I love sharing our farm life with you all. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with all our adventures. See you next time, and thanks for joining me on the farm today.